Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Asobi Asobase episodes 9 and 10. So yeah, we're doing two this week, not necessarily just to make up for last week where we skipped it last week to do Star Versus. No, this week we're doing two because, well, I want to do two. I want to get caught up. There's 4 more episodes. We're doing two this week, and we're planning to do two next week. So that way we finish off the series and we can just kind of move on. And the thing is, this series is kind of starting to slog for me a little bit. And what I mean is, it's starting to feel like it's tough to sit through, hard to just put myself through, in the same way that it was for Pop Team Epic. It doesn't have as much appeal as Nichijou. It's so crazy, so random, and so insane that it just gets hard to watch sometimes. But that doesn't mean I don't enjoy it to a degree. It's just, it is sometimes hard to watch. But we do need to move on. We do need to get to other stuff, especially considering Monday with this all is the poll day. So we have to get back to more poll-related stuff. So yeah, we just got to get this kind of closed out. So yeah, we're doing 2 episodes today, and I really don't have anything to say regarding pre-thoughts or anything, because as usual, there's just not really much of anything to say regarding this going into it. Like I said before, there's not really much of any ongoing plot. There's not really any like huge character traits that pass over from episode to episode. It's just kind of take it as it goes, you know? So we're just going to get into it. No reason to hold it off. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Yeah, I'm sorry, I often just don't say a lot with this series. It's just there doesn't never feels like there's a lot to say. Um, I do want to talk about Olivia's brother though. Like he has this like design and everything where he apparently seems like a very stereotypical gross otaku type character. You know, like a blatant, overused, and frankly stupid stereotype. But apparently he has 2 PhDs according to Olivia, and he shows some level of intellect while he's speaking. Um, so it's like he's not quite inherently stereotypical, because the stereotypical way to have that character as portrayed in all kinds of different ways is where he'd be living in his mother's basement. He'd be stupid. He'd be a neat, that kind of thing. But the fact that he's again apparently has graduated college early and has 2 PhDs, that actually goes against the stereotype to a degree. But he is still pretty gross. Then we have the entire thing with Kasumi and the kiss and everything. So there's this other girl whose name I cannot remember right now, but she's a little weird. She's really good at English apparently, but not good at classic literature. And the way she speaks is really weird. That can't just be me. It really is off, which is probably the joke. But she falls for Kasumi, which is completely fine, by the way. I have no issue with that at all, obviously. But she falls for Kasumi and asks her out on a date after she finds out that Olivia doesn't actually know English. So she asks Kasumi out on a date and uses that as kind of leverage, blackmail, basically. But Azora comes in and saves Kasumi, saying, "Oh, no, 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 she's spoken for." And we even see Azora kiss Kasumi, which is then progressed into another part of the episode where Kasumi's trying to find out if Azora really has a dick or not. This brought in the idea of lesbian relationships and everything. And as I've talked about plenty of times in the past, and I will talk about in the future, I am all kinds of supportive of LGBT representation in media, whether it be gay relationships, lesbian relationships, trans people, etc., etc. I think that LGBT representation is necessary, especially with the growing world climate of LGBTQ plus people finding the confidence to be able to come out more and more often in the recent years. So it's important to be able to represent those people with characters in media, whether that media be anime, cartoons, video games, comic books, anything. So the concept of having, even in a comedy show like this, of having two possible lesbian ships with Kasumi is completely fine, and I'm completely good with it. The issue here is brought in with Kasumi's growing interest in finding out whether or not Azora has a dick. Because this was an issue I did bring up before as well, about the possible transphobia that goes into that. Because in the past, they were kind of assuming that if Azora had a dick, it would automatically make Azora male. Now, Azora's actual gender has been completely left ambiguous. There was one point where Azora referred to girls as in other than herself, which is kind of implying that Azora isn't a girl. And I said back then that could still mean Azora is non-binary, and it could technically mean Azora is trans too. It could mean male, non-binary, or trans. Despite you'd have to know the specific context behind the way Azora said that line. But no matter what the truth is behind the character, whether Azora again is male, a trans female, or a non-binary person, an NB, it doesn't matter in the long run. The problem is this show is putting so much effort into focusing on it in a negative light. It's trying to paint it as if it's a problem, as if the concept of Azora, who is female presenting, would have a dick, would automatically make things an issue, would automatically be problematic and wrong. That is kind of how it's presenting it, and it really bothers me, to be honest. It's the one thing in this show that honestly really bothers me. I mean, all the kind of sexual humor and stuff, that the robot in this episode that had the dirtiest mouth ever, like none of that stuff bothers me. Even the concept of knowing that these girls are like 14 years old and that Kasumi's breasts have been a point of note for a couple different episodes, including one where it showed her in a swimsuit and showed off her cleavage very gratuitously. That doesn't bother me as much because, one, it's fiction. Two, it's anime. It's like, it's not indicative of real life in any way, especially with a series like this. And anime tends to do that kind of stuff. At this point, you're not going to have an easy time avoiding it if you watch anime. I'm not saying that it's right to sexualize 14-year-old girls. It's definitely not. But it's not as, I guess you could say it's something I've gotten more used to and doesn't hit me as hard anymore. But something like this is something you don't see a lot, something you don't see focused on heavily. And it comes off, especially as a trans girl myself, it comes off as excessively offensive. And I don't think that's their intention. I really don't. I'm not going to hold it against the creators of the show or the manga or whatever for doing that. Because, again, I really don't think that was intention there. Um, but it still bothers the hell out of me, nonetheless. It's still extremely uncomfortable to watch. That entire skit we saw in these episodes where Hanako and Olivia were trying to help Kasumi see under Azora's skirt was really uncomfortable to watch and was really bothering me. Like, it was disgusting. Because, again, the point of it was to see if Azora had a dick. As if that matters. And here's the thing, maybe Azora does have a dick. Why does that fucking matter? Why do you care? It's just, it's really irritating. And it's the one part of the show that really, really gets to me like that. Azora as a character, I have no issue with. And I have no issue with Azora, even if not female, I have no issue with Azora presenting feminine. Because, believe it or not, men can present feminine all they want. Non-binary people can present any way they want. Trans people, no matter whether trans male, trans female, no matter if you're agender or whatever else, you can present any fucking way you want. Any way that makes you comfortable, any way that you enjoy to present. Most of the time, I don't present super feminine. I wear t-shirts or even collar shirts. I wear a lot of sweatpants. That's not what is typically seen as presenting feminine. But I do wear dresses. I wear dresses and more feminine clothes as well. Especially during a lot of special events and stuff. But it's not all I wear. Most of the time I present what you could consider gender neutral. I present very neutral. I don't present like super masculine or anything, but I don't present feminine either most of the time. Does that make me any less of a girl? No. Does it make me any less of a girl that I'm currently wearing my hair like this? No. I have it tucked behind my ears and swept back because I just wanted to wear it like this right now. I could pull it out right now, wear it down like this, more like how I usually do, and it's the same exact thing. I wanted to wear my hair like that just then. And I only brought it out like this to make this point. No matter what you present as, no matter what you look like, no matter if you have a dick or not, no matter if you have breasts or not, no matter on any of that, that kind of shit does not define who you are. It does not define your gender. And that's what my problem is, as I said. This show is acting like it does. It didn't do anything, by the way, it didn't do a single thing to talk down on the idea of this one girl being in love, this other girl whose name, again, I don't remember, being in love with Kasumi and asking her out. This show did nothing to talk down about that, to say that was wrong. No, in fact, it was kind of treated as this normal thing. But then when everything surrounding Azora was treated as if it was a joke, as if it was something to laugh at. Not even just the dick situation. When Hanako was putting Kasumi on trial because she thought that Kasumi had kissed a boy, and when she found out that it was actually just Azora, just a girl, because they were in an all-girls school, and she's like, oh, no, that's fine, you're fine, that's just a extended greeting and shit. It's like, no. I mean, yes, kisses can be a greeting, especially in a lot of European countries where it's like a kiss on each cheek. Sure. Kisses can be a greeting, and of course, you'll kiss family members, yeah. But kissing in general is not inherently negative. And it's not inherently or it's what did I don't know. It's not inherently casual either. Like kissing a lot of the time is seen as a very romantic thing. It's seen as something like, oh, you kissed someone. That's a big deal. And they're treating it, oh, like because it's a girl, it doesn't mean anything. But they didn't treat it like that when it was the other girl who kissed Kasumi. The show did not treat it like that at all. It treated it as a normal thing. And then it's because it's Aozora. They're treating this as a joke. They're treating everything as a joke when it's surrounding Aozora. And that feels so disrespectful and disgusting and horrible. And again, I don't think it's intentional, but that honestly almost makes it a little worse and harder to watch. Because if it's intentional, at least you know that they're being assholes for the sake of being assholes. But when it's unintentional, it makes it feel like, oh, they didn't realize and no one told them that this is wrong. It makes it feel like it was not really given enough thought. Like it wasn't, like people didn't put any real effort into proof checking this, proofreading it and everything, the script and all. In a way, it makes it feel worse. I mean, it is worse when it's intentional for obvious reasons. But you get what I'm saying, I hope. That it kind of almost feels worse when it's unintentional in this kind of context. I just feel like they're treating this entire situation with Aozora in a very terrible way. Now, mind you, there are still 2 episodes to go, and that could change. They could end up actually concluding it very respectfully. And I hope they do. I hope that they end up concluding it very respectfully and kind of maybe having this final thing with it where they come to terms with it. Where they come to terms with, oh, it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit if Aozora has a dick? Who gives a shit if Aozora is male or female or whatever? It doesn't matter. I hope that they kind of come to that conclusion in the end. Because if they just kind of leave it off with this, one, that would feel woefully, like, incomplete, like a big old plot hole left to be filled. Especially with no season 2. Yes, there are OVAs and specials or whatnot, but you shouldn't have to go see extra content to get the whole story. I don't ever believe that. And again, if they're planning a season 2, that's a different factor, but still. For example, as a big example of that, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. A season 2 has been announced. And of course, the manga did continue after the point where season 1 ended. However, if you just watch season 1 of Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, the anime, you would be completely satisfied. It had a completely satisfactory story to it. It had a beginning, a middle, and an ending. And yeah, of course it could continue further after that, after where it left off. But if that was all there ever was, it would be satisfying. It would be a satisfying conclusion. Now, granted, again, they are making a second season, which I am super excited about, super hyped about. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, one of my favorite anime. But still, the point is that showed how you do it. Yes, there's more to come, and there definitely could have been more to come with where they left it off. But there didn't need to be at the same time. It didn't make a focus, a point of that. It presented it in a very clean, wrapped up way to where all of it felt isolated enough that you don't need anything else. Unlike this, which again, if it leaves off with this, with Aozora's, character arc, it will feel just completely unsatisfying. And again, you shouldn't have to look up extra content to get the full story of a series. And OVAs and specials are extra content. That is kind of the point of OVAs and specials. They are not supposed to be necessary to the viewing experience. Same with movies or whatnot. They are supposed to be additions to the main experience. And that's not to say they can't be canon. Oh no, they can definitely be canon. But yeah, they're not supposed to be necessary to view. And I'm just really hoping they do give some level of conclusion to this in the last 2 episodes. But otherwise, I have no idea where the final 2 episodes are going to go. I have no idea what they're going to do with the rest of this series. As for OVAs and specials and stuff, I don't know if I'm going to get to those. I'm not going to get to them right away, I can tell you that for sure. Kind of how, like, with the High Score Girl OVA episodes, which I assume wrap up the storyline that the first season of the series started. Though I don't know, because the second season has been confirmed. There are 2 OVA episodes that kind of take place, I assume, after the first season of High Score Girl. But there is a second season coming, I think, actually this summer. So I assume those are going to bridge the gap between the 2 seasons. And I'm very glad there's a second season, because as you know, I was very unsatisfied with how season 1 ended. So I'm very glad there's a second season, and that does kind of help with my issue with season 1's ending. Because I really think that the fact that it never really went anywhere with him and with the main 2 characters' relationship felt really off, because it was building to that. That was what the entire series was building to. But with the second season, with the OVAs, which I still haven't seen, by the way, it makes it better, at least. But back on topic. Let's stop getting off track with other shows. I'm just using them as examples here. Yeah, I really hope that this does conclude in a satisfactory way. And again, if I can get to the OVAs and specials at some point, I will, but I cannot guarantee that right now. I'll talk more about this next week when we do the last 2 episodes of this series. And yeah, either way, tell me in the comments below what you thought of these episodes. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,